we didn't have a lot of time for a pre-grid, so we thought we'd bring you back up here. Ben, you are here, though, and I know that this is a big day. Day 2, what do we learn from day 1? And we also have that, as we always do, that possibility of weather coming in.
Yeah, we had a lot of drivers actually kind of check out in this group. I'm counting 2 or 3. David Conrad and Carl George aren't going to be here just because of looking at the weather. But I think what we learned is that some of these Miatas are really fast in this group,
Yes.
including that one right there, Anthony Fornetti, who has not lost a Miata race in over a year in our Heritage Miata Series. Really good driver. He was with us last weekend at Charlotte. He said that was kind of like a bucket list race for him. We love having Anthony Fornetti because he's kind of taken a silent leadership role of these Miatas. That is Yusuf Muhammad here from Alpharetta, Georgia. Really fast driver, loves racing his Miata. If we can get a shot of the hood, you'll see some fire damage on there. Gil Jackson right there, another great driver from the Atlanta area. So these Miatas, I don't think it's a split start, possibly a self-imposed split start. You see the zoom right there. He's followed by Delaney Calhoun, J. Richard Schnabel, Skylar Cottrell, if he makes it. He went out of the race yesterday with, I think, engine problems. So that rounds out our Miata group. Now, there's a few NAs and a few NBs out there, but Anthony Fornetti is leading the group in a 1.6 liter, which is not unusual. The NBs are 1.8 liter engines, a little bit bigger displacement, a little bit more power. But Anthony Fornetti is a really good sports car driver. Then we go to, sorry.
And when you say NA and MB, how do you delineate that?
Well, it's actually, we learned this from last time. Somebody left a comment and told us. So the NA,
yes,
it's a VIN number. So
yeah, okay.
A lot of people make the jokes of no acceleration and no brakes, but turns out that wasn't true. And then we have Dave Nicholas joining us. He is our 5-time Group 1 champion, so he'll be our Group 1 and 3-4 expert up here. But then we have Daniel Becker, who had a really good race yesterday in his Crossley 32F from 1977 with John Nash, 1962 Lotus Super 7. Jeff White is in a 1978 Crossley 32F. So Daniel Becker and Jeff White are our Group 2 performers today. Our first in Group 1 is Andrew Mclean. We say that because he's Scotch.
Andrew.
Yeah, he's 1958 Austin Healey Bug-Eye. He's the he actually looks like he's wearing a Swedish flag, ironically, because it's blue and yellow. James Freeman is in that beautiful 1958 Devon SS, and I think that is my pick for the weekend of the prettiest car here. Scott Frazier in the 1958 Kermit the Frog Eye Sprite. Rick Frazier, his dad, just right behind him in a 1972 MG Midget. Logan Maurer, who was out there in the Enduro just now in his 1990 Honda CRX, and he's the only front-wheel drive in this field, so I'm sure he was hoping for rain. Gary Hagopian, 1958 Austin Healey Bug-Eye Sprite. Tom Brown in a 63 Blue Triumph Spitfire. Ken Morris in an MGB Black. Bert Stein in a 1961 MGA Bubba. Frank Schober in a 1988 Volkswagen Golf, but I don't think he's in the mix today. And then Mark Pomeroy in a beautiful Morgan Plus 4 with wire wheels.
Let me throw a first question at our special guest, Dave. Just how popular is Miata racing now in the United States? It seems to me like it just gets bigger and bigger.
Well, it certainly does. It's a throwback to the old days in the 50s and 60s when I got started, where we all raced MGs.
Yeah.
And then the Sprites came along, and those are the affordable ones. So people who want to go road racing, Miata is the way. There are parts everywhere. So that it's really, really quite easy to keep them running. And, should you have a little contretemps with another car, parts, just go to the junkyard and get all the fenders and hoods that you need.
It's affordable classic racing. That's the best way to look at it. But we've also got, obviously, some really, like you mentioned, everybody started off on MGs, and we've got midgets out there. We've even got Austin Healey's. They've got the odd Lotus Super 7. So we've got a real smorgasbord of Japanese and British classics.
Yeah. And what happened when Mazda approached us about doing this, there's always so many spec Miatas out there racing, but these had kind of been obsoleted. You know, this is the first iteration, the vintage Miatas, if you will, and people pulled them out of their barns, and there's thousands of them. So if you want to come racing, you can buy a good turnkey Miata race car for under $12,000 sometimes as they come to the green, Jonathan.
Absolutely.
Yep, here we go. They are lining up 2 by 2, and we are going to split the grid for the start of this one. The Miatas will head off first as they come underneath our commentary position and head down towards that green flag, and away they go. And it's already spreading out.
Yeah, Rich
Snable.
Snable
go on the inside, yeah. He didn't make it, but...
Yeah, Finetti's got the lead by the looks of things, but we expected that. He had the pole position.
And that's Yusuf Muhammad ducking into second, followed by Gil Jackson and Richard Schnabel. It's a good battle out there. David Bain holding up the rear, and here we come into the start of our vintage side.
Here come our vintage British, mainly, racers as they cross the line. Here they come,
and
led by the Super 7.
Yeah, old John Nash, he knows how to make a start. He starts generally when he thinks the green flag's going to come out, not necessarily when it does. He's done that to me any number of times.
Now watch for a good battle between that green Bug-Eye Sprite and the blue Bug-Eye Sprite as we see Anthony Frenetti coming into 6th. Look at that, Yusuf Muhammad, Gil Jackson coming to the inside of him.
And coming down the S's for the first time, John Nash leading the way, as you say, getting a cracking start in that Super 7.
And Mr. Freeman has decided to sit the day out, so your favorite Devon is not there.
Yeah, beautiful car. But you can go back and watch our replays if you're on the app. And if you don't mind, join us on our SVRA Facebook. Leave some comments of what you'd like to see, what you'd like to hear about.
Oh, no, Andy Mclean is looking bad. He's pulling over to the side. And I wanted to make a comment. Scott Fraser and Andy Mclean, I mean, they're each well over 200 pounds and driving those little small Bug-Eyes.
Okay, let's see if Yusuf Muhammad, he's got the power. Does he have the brakes to outbrake Gil Jackson here going into 10A? Does.
Yeah, classic overtake at Road Atlanta. Nicely done.
I really like these Miatas. I just think they're cool. As an MG guy,
yeah,
I feel like this is a reliable MG to me is what the Miata is.
As a Brit, I'm saying ouch.
Yeah, that was also
true.
Yeah, that was great driving by both of them. Both drivers knew where they were on the track, gave each other plenty of room, and believe me, they'll be battling it out again.
So when you get behind cars like this in a train, can you feel the draft? Can you hear it when you're in your cars?
No, in these kinds of cars, not really. There is a little bit of a draft effect, but no, we don't go fast enough, nor are they aerodynamic enough.
So we see that's Gil Jackson there with the yellow hood, followed by Richard Schnabel, I believe.
Yes, it is. And Schnabel broke his into racing with MGs.
Oh. So a yellow there at 5. So that might be for our buddy Andrew Mclean.
I believe, yeah.
Let's see where he pulled off. There he is. He's in a safe spot.
Yep, Fornetti doing a great job already. He's already pulled almost a 4-second lead in the early stages of this one, so he is flying.
And that is the 211 of Jeff White, 1978 Crossley 32F. If you're wondering, we usually don't like to mix open wheel cars like our Group 2, but there are only 2 here this weekend. So we put them with these guys and just told them at driver's meeting to make sure you're looking out for them as we look at Logan Maurer in that 1990 Honda CRX. And a lot of people are thinking, well, that's not a vintage car, but that car is much older than the driver.
It looks like we're going to have another battle up front between John Nash and the Formula Ford. They seem to be getting closer together, and they put on a heck of a show for us yesterday.
One thing I love about John Nash and his wife Lorna, they always put on a good show. John just loves driving. He drives that same car in 2 different groups. He has 2 identical cars, but his Group 3 car I don't think is ready to go out just yet. He says he's got a stress fracture in the frame, so he adds weight to this car so that he can ride it in Group 3 as we look side by side.
This is great.
Is Becker going to get him?
Probably.
He's got the inside line, but Nash closes the door nicely.
As he does often.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you spoke to him on the street, you would never, ever suspect him of being an aggressive and wonderful race car driver. He's just a delightful British chap, rather short, little goatee. but boy, he can drive.
A Graham Hill figure.
Yes.
Oh gosh, so Graham Hill was tall.
That's true.
Much taller than John Nash, but the same personality.
Gotcha.
But they're catching up to our Miata right there of Dave Bain, who's actually going to be with you next weekend at VIR racing, I think, an MG with us at the VDCA event at VIR. So we've got guys that have crossed over to the dark side of Miata from the British sports cars, but they go back and forth.
Yeah, Richard Schnabel has also entered in his MG.
Yeah. So there goes John Nash around David Bain. There's our leader, Anthony Fornetti, who is just unstoppable. One of the nicest guys in our paddock. I believe he's here with his father. I saw his father walking around. He's at Upper Peninsula. And there's Yusuf Muhammad giving him a chase. Yusuf Muhammad's really finding some speed in these Miatas. He was here last weekend at the Super Tour from Alpharetta, Georgia. Started in a field of 71 Mazda Miatas. And now he's here racing in the Heritage Miata. We hope to see Yusuf Muhammad at more events. He was with us here last year at Road Atlanta. But when you live so close to Road Atlanta, it's hard to travel anywhere else to go to tracks because this is such a wonderful track in his backyard.
Cat Stevens is called Yusuf Muhammad, and it confused me there. I thought we had the mighty Cat Stevens out there. Fastest men on track at the moment, John Nash and Daniel Becker, both in the 146s.
And here they come.
Side by side again. Will he close the door? I don't think he can this time.
I think a Lotus Super 7 may be one of the only production cars that a Formula Ford would feel comfortable being about as low, that they could see each other, because a Formula Ford next to any kind of production car just looks really dwarfed, and they're afraid they can't be seen. But a Lotus is pretty accommodating to a Formula Ford.
Yeah.
Jeff White out on his own at the moment, currently in 9th position as he glides through the famous S's section here at the Michelin Road Atlanta circuit, having a beautiful day out on a Sunday, getting it all in before the potential rain coming.
Yeah, we're in our car, which will race later today. We're prepared for rain. The forecast is around 1 o'clock or noon or 1 o'clock. It's going to start, and we're out at 2. So I'm ready for it.
Well, I'm going to see if you can give H.D. Woodruff a run for his money. We've got 2 equally yoked BMW 2002s out there with Dave Nicholas. And Dave, tell us about that car and why it's significant here to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta.
Oh, we have a change here. The father has gone past the son. The 2 Frasers in their lime green Sprites. Scott is generally the faster one. That's his dad in 007. And Scott is trailing him in the Bug-Eye. Quite unusual. I've raced against Scott, in fact, here just a few years ago in the rain, and got past him until it dried up, and then those Sprites just went right by me again.
Yeah, and look at this. We've got John Nash. Daniel Becker spins into the wall.
Oh, no. Oh, big time.
Tire going across.
Right in front of our commentary position as well.
Oh, that's unfortunate. He was just about to make that pass, got on the gas maybe a little bit too early at turn 12 into the wall. Double yellows are out.
Oh boy, I hope John gave him enough room.
He did. Yeah, he's out of the car. We were able to watch that live from our commentary position. You don't need to jump over the wall.
I was about to say,
Daniel.
good luck if you're going to try and get over that wall.
Not even the acrobatic Ben Sissel could get over the wall.
Now we do a lot of these drivers.
He's using the tire.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers race in Europe, and in Europe the rules are to get out of the car immediately. Our rules are to stay in the car. We think that you're safer in the car.
Yeah, probably true.
Strapped in with everything. So we hope Daniel's okay. Everybody's looking at the double yellow flags, and we need Daniel to get off of the track. He went out there to pick up some debris.
Yeah, you definitely need to stay in the car. I unfortunately witnessed Marty Krinner fall out of the race with a GT350 at Watkins Glen. Must have been 68 or 69, and a car spun and killed him. It was a tragedy. Should have stayed in the car. You've got to stay in the car.
Just heard from RC Race Control that we are in red flag conditions, which means the drivers need to stop at their nearest corner station. So we're going to go full course red there. So you'll watch these 2 cars. And in SVRA, it's different in some. But because it's vintage racing, we want them to stop at a corner station. The corner stations, corner workers are trained with fire bottles, meaning so if they do catch fire, the gas touches their headers, the corner worker can come out and put out the fire. And this is a good time to talk about corner workers. The SCCA group here. If you want to have the greatest seat in racing, volunteer at your local SCCA group, and they will train you on how to be a corner worker, a flag person. They're some of the most wonderful people at our race weekends. I don't know if you ever get to talk to the corner workers, but they have so much fun out here watching, and they do get the nicest seats in the house.
First in, last out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I teach racing school sometimes, and one thing I always stress is when you're on that cool down lap, wave and thank the corner workers.
Yeah.
Because without them, we don't race.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. If we don't know what's happening in front of us, we can't race. So I always wave and give thumbs up and pay respects to the corner workers.
Yeah, and if you're in trouble, they're the guys that are going to help you.
Yeah. Yeah. Very knowledgeable. They're well trained. They know how to deal with all kinds of situations, and so we want to thank the corner workers. Thank you to the corner workers as some of the cars came down into pit lane. That's Tom Lemkuhl there, our grid master. And then this man on the left there is Skip, and I got to give it up for Skip. Skip is a pediatrician in Pennsylvania, and this is his vacation. And he's with us almost every weekend, but he finds this to be so relaxing. He helps Rick Parent, our chief of tech, in tech, like early on in the week, and then he moves to grid. Very knowledgeable about sports cars, always good watching out for the well-being, but it's also nice to have a doctor on site with us if anything does happen. So Skip, thank you so much for coming out.
When we're on the grid before we go out, Skip does his walk. He comes by every car and kind of looks inside, making sure we didn't forget to put our chin straps or our arm restraints.
Yep.
He's very quietly efficient.
Yeah, great guy. So we're looking there. That's our last Formula Ford in the group. If we do get to go to a restart, I'm guessing right now we possibly could. I'm going to radio RC and see what he says about that.
Yeah, it looks as though they're getting, at least the drivers are presuming that they're going to restart, so let's hope they do. Looking high above the front straight. We're on the second floor of the brand new Michelin Raceway building. Absolutely resplendent. And it looks as though they are taking the cars off, so we won't restart that. But good start to the day, chaps.
Yeah, good stuff. I think that was, unfortunate way to end it. Great race in there from Daniel Becker and John Nash as we hope that all the cars get fired up with that beautiful Marlboro Alpha out there. He is teammates and brothers with the Logan Maurer of that Honda CRX that we saw there at Turn 6. So, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that will do it for the 1, 2, 3, 4 and Miata's group at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Dave Nicholas, we're going to see you out in your car that you won here in the Camel GT and the Trans Am Series in 1973, right?
It's long time ago. Yeah, the car and the driver are still going strong.
I love it.
Amazingly.
I love it. So, Johnny, wrap us up from this one.
Well, thanks, Dave Nicholas, and, of course, Ben Sissel. That was our first group race of the day. There's plenty more coming from SVRA, but also Trans Am, FR, and Formula 4 Americas coming up on your way here at Road Atlanta as all part of our Speed Tour. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with more action very shortly.